You're watching Football Daily, and yes, it's that time of the week again. It's transfer talk. I don't care if the window's just shut. Let's crack on. If you do hear of any transfer rumours yourself, please make sure you tweet them in using the hashtag TransferTalk to me, Joe Tomlinson, or the Football Daily account. Also, make sure you hit like right now and subscribe. Things are looking a little rosier in West London than they were last week after backing up a damaging loss away at Arsenal with their worst performance of the season at the Vitality. The pressure was starting to mount on Chelsea boss Maurizio Sarri. But the questions over his tactics, team selections and signing of Gonzalo Higuain were answered in emphatic style at the weekend with a 5-0 thrashing of bottom-placed Huddersfield, with the 75-capped Argentine netting a brace, his first goals for the Blues. And Spanish publication Estadio Deportivo claimed that there is even more good news to come, with Chelsea heavily linked with a summer move for Sevilla's Pablo Sarabia. The 26-year-old attacker, who can play across the midfield or on either wing, has scored 37 times and assisted another 31 in just 135 appearances since joining Los Rojiblancos from Getafe in June 2016. But this season, his form has hit new heights, with the player contributing 14 league goals in just 21 games. In fact, no midfielder in Spain has scored more than his 7 La Liga goals this campaign. Having profiled him numerous times on FD this year with his current contract expiring at the end of the season, we feel this is the perfect time for Sarabia to move. And with rumoured interest from PSG, Sarri will be keen to land the former Spain under-21 international, who's valued at over €20 million. We take a trip from Spain over to France now, where the ERU star of the week, Nicolas Pepe, continues to interest some of Europe's elite. Italian website Sports Mediaset are reporting that a 3-way fight for his services between Arsenal, Barcelona and Napoli is set to break out this summer. It's not difficult to see why the 23-year-old is under the microscope this season either, with his form for Lille nothing short of exceptional. His 16 goals and 8 assists in just 23 Ligue 1 games have been the crucial reason behind his side's second place standing at the time of writing. Lille sporting director Luis Campos has previously suggested the 10-capped Ivorian should be valued at close to €80 million, but we reckon a deal closer to €60 million could be struck. You can see why Campos will be so keen to keep hold of his star though. Not only has he been directly involved in 60% of Lille's league goals, but only Mbappe with 18 has netted more in the whole of France this year. His all-round statistics are also superb: 3.4 shots, 1.8 key passes and 4.5 dribbles per 90. In fact, only 5 players have completed more dribbles in the whole of Europe this season. With the Daily Mirror reporting that Arsenal will only have £40 million to spend in the summer, Pepe might well be out of their price range. But we want to hear from you at home. If you were Pepe, who would you join? Arsenal and Napoli and get regular game time, or risk it and go to Barcelona, having seen what happened to Malcolm? Vote in the poll in the top right now. Let's be honest, Barcelona, they're just being greedy at the moment. Not satisfied with landing Europe's most in-demand midfielder Frenkie de Jong from under the noses of PSG and Man City, they're now stepping up their pursuit of Ajax's other jewel, Matthijs de Ligt. According to renowned Catalan journalist Roger Torreo, writing in Mundo Deportivo, de Ligt is high on Barcelona's priorities this summer, and they're willing to fork out an additional €75 million plus add-ons. From the player's perspective, he seems keen as well, saying after their 3-1 victory in the Cup that anybody would like to play for Barcelona. According to Torreo, he identifies strongly with their style of play and is keen to join his close friend de Jong. But he does also remain concerned at where he would fit into the Barcelona project. With new arrivals Jean-Claire Todibo and Jason Murillo joining last month to complement Piqué, Umtiti, Longley and Vermaelen, the 19-year-old Ajax captain is quite rightly concerned about his place in the pecking order. And with astronomical offers on the table from PSG and Juventus, not to mention a host of Premier League clubs monitoring the situation, de Ligt has a big decision to make. But where do you think he's going to end up? Let us know in the comments below. But Matthijs de Ligt isn't the only young centre-back who's on the radar of the top clubs. According to Sportbild, Arsenal are considering the signing of RB Leipzig's 19-year-old centre-back Ibrahima Konate, who has excelled this season at the heart of De Boelen's defence. The Frenchman joined Leipzig after excelling in Ligue 2 with Sochaux in 16-17, signing a 5-year deal. He made 16 Bundesliga appearances in his first campaign, but has already played more minutes this season, with his 1,300 plus, the most of any defender in Ralf Rangnick's squad. Konate has been a key element of Leipzig's rock-solid defence, which has only conceded 18 league goals, the joint best in Germany along with Bayern, and the 6th best in Europe. The Paris-born defender has averaged a commendable 4.7 tackles and interceptions per 90 in the Bully, a figure which jumps to 5.7 in the Europa League, whilst also averaging 5.2 aerial duels won, an improvement on teammate Upamecano's 4.8. Sportbild also claimed that West Ham and Chelsea are scouting the youngster, meaning that if the Gunners want him, they'll have to move fast, especially with his value quadrupling in the last year alone to over 30 million euros. Go get him now, Unai. Ivan Rakitic has been a fantastic servant to Barcelona since arriving from Sevilla in 2014. The 101-cap Croat has made at least 50 appearances in each of the last 4 campaigns and is already well on his way to matching that this season with 32 games under his belt. That would suggest that Rakitic, who has won 12 trophies with the Blaugrana, including 3 La Liga titles and a Champions League, remains heavily in Valverde's plans, despite the arrival of Arthur and impending one of De Jong. But Calcio Mercato are reporting this week that the World Cup finalist might have a decision on his hands, with Inter Milan set to attempt to prize him away from the club this summer. His agent Arturo Canales has already been quoted in Sport as saying Ivan wants to leave Barcelona in the summer. No way, that's impossible. But the same report claims that Rakitic is still waiting on talks for a new contract. So if those don't develop, perhaps a summer switch to Italy could be on the cards. What would you do if you were Rakitic though? Would you stay and compete for a place at Europe's top table, or take a bumper deal and wind down with a battle for the Champions League places in Italy? Let us know in the comments. Staying in Italy for now, where Serie A's top scorer Cristiano Ronaldo is reportedly flexing his influence in his new Turin home. According to Marca, the Portuguese superstar is imploring his employers to sign Real Madrid's James Rodriguez this summer to strengthen them in the final third. Last year, James shone on loan at Bayern, scoring 7 and assisting another 11 in the league alone. But this campaign, with a number of different injuries and issues with new boss Niko Kovac, Rodriguez has been limited to just 577 Bundesliga minutes. That's the 15th in the Bavarian squad. With Real Madrid's managerial situation up in the air, this seems like the ideal time to sign the Colombian permanently. But with Paulo Dybala, Cuadrado and Douglas Costa already on the books and all capable of playing behind the striker, to us, this seems highly unlikely. In our opinion, the move that's far more likely to happen concerning the Bianconeri is Marcelo. Tuttosport claim the Brazilian, widely considered to be the best left-back in the world over the last 5 years, is a £40 million target for the 34-time Italian champions. Once considered unsellable, Marcelo has featured less regularly recently, with Solari increasingly favouring Sergio Reguilon in his backline. Could Marcelo see this as a good opportunity to part ways and link up with his former teammate, especially with Tuttosport claiming there's a £10.5 million a year contract on the table from Juventus? We think it's quite a Juve move. And finally, it's time for our headline story, and it's a big one. Liverpool have been consistently linked with a move for Lorenzo Insigne over the past 12 months, with Jurgen Klopp known to be a strong admirer of the 27-year-old. But now Italian paper La Repubblica claimed that materialised in a £61 million bid for the player recently, which Napoli owner De Laurentiis rejected, holding out for 132 million pounds. With Salah and Mane in such fine form this season, it seems incredibly unlikely that Liverpool would stump up the sum for a 27-year-old who scored 11 and assisted 5 for the Little Donkeys this campaign. But if they could lower that estimation by £50 million to, say, £80 million, Insigne would be a fantastic signing. With Man City boasting forward depth of Gabriel Jesus, Mahrez and Bernardo Silva, Liverpool are struggling somewhat with Origi and Sturridge, the first names off their bench. So it's pretty obvious where they need some backup. With a contract running until 2022, the 30-capped Italian certainly wouldn't come cheap. Liverpool fans, what do you reckon though? Splash the cash and add much needed depth to your forward line, or prioritise another centre-back and full-back? Let us know in the comments below. So that's it for this episode of Transfer Talk. I'm fully aware that the window's just shut, so most of this is probably nonsense. But nevertheless, if you enjoyed this video, please hit like and don't forget to subscribe.